whoever speaks up most gets to shape the culture. I'm looking at a whole army of young people who want to speak up.
San Francisco, AT&T Park. This is BattleCry. And these 22,000 screaming teenagers and adults are Christian conservatives armed with their faith and prepared for battle in perhaps the most liberal city in America. Ready to fight what to them are the evils of secular society and pop culture: sex, drugs, violence, and pervasive pornography on the airwaves, the internet, and in video games. They are God's warriors for Jesus.
We're here to stage a reverse rebellion. We're here to rise up, reject the pop culture, and recreate it with the creativity that God has given us.
The man leading this struggle is Ron Luce.
So, I have a question for you tonight. Do you have a voice? I didn't hear you. I said, do you have a voice?
Hello. How are you?
I traveled to San Francisco and met Luce as he rehearsed for that night's BattleCry event.
It's like Sarajevo.
I wanted to know why he's declared war on the American lifestyle.
We call them terrorists, virtue terrorists, that are destroying our kids.
Virtue terrorists.
They're raping virgin teenage America on the sidewalk, and everybody's walking by and acting like everything's okay, and it's just not okay.
I want us to read this for just a moment here.
The language is extreme, but many Christian parents agree with Luce. They don't like a culture where kids know more about Paris Hilton than the Bible. But his hard line against abortion and homosexuality is what draws the controversy.
BattleCry is not a harmless movement. Its program is fiercely anti-woman, anti-gay, pro-war, and pro-obedience.
Critics say Luce, under the guise of saving teenagers, is imposing his conservative values on the rest of society.
It represents a far bigger agenda, a Christian right, theocratic agenda that goes from Ron Luce, the leader of BattleCry, to Pat Robertson, all the way up to George Bush.
How do you answer that? They say, this sounds like a message of, bringing back your values, but it's actually a message of intolerance and of hate.
You could say it's divisive. Well, maybe it needs to be divisive.
Luce is 46 years old, an evangelical preacher, and founder of ministries that he calls Teen Mania.
We're fighting for those who don't know they have a voice, that are being manipulated by our pop culture, indulging in things that really they're not even mature enough to be thinking about yet.
Like many of the Christian warriors I met, Luce had a troubled past.
I was one of these kids. I'm a party animal. I'm messed up. Parents were divorced. I ran away when I was 15 to go find my dad. And I'm doing drugs and stuff, and smoking weed, and, my life's messed up.
Jesus is love. Which is when, he says, he found God. A friend had invited him to church.
God began to heal me of my brokenness, my past, and really, I think now, Teen Mania and BattleCry is a reflection of what God really did inside me.
His ministry is located on 472 acres in rural East Texas.
It's just going to be an amazing time to come and learn about how to become better leaders and warriors of Christ.
Here, he trains teenagers how to spread his message.
Be able to be connected with other teenagers.
We tell them their cubicle is their pulpit. This is your chance to use technology to change your generation.
Just open up the floodgates.
It costs each student about $650 a month to be here. They are the foot soldiers in Ron Luce's Army for God.
We have 720 students. They come for 1 year, learning about honor and character and passion for God.
They also serve as the backbone for BattleCry.
25 chairs.
They plan the events, act in them, and even create their own media to combat today's mass media.
It just shows, like, statistically where teens are at. At the very end, one girl's holding a sign. It says, "All of us need to be reached."
Can we just talk straight here? Pornography has nothing to do with you.
The day we visited Luce in Texas, he was warning students that pornography can be addictive.
And don't be thinking, well, as soon as we get married, it'll all be over because then I'll be there for him. No. In fact, you will never be able to live up to stuff that he's seen.
On campus, students must follow a strict set of rules.
Good morning.
No secular music or television. No R-rated movies. No alcohol, no drugs, no dating.
When I, read that women have to wear skirts of a certain length and guys aren't allowed to, go on the internet unsupervised, I mean, I think, totalitarian regimes.
No, it's about learning to have disciplines that communicate purity. The skirt's length are to keep guys from, any man on the planet can be distracted, and we don't want to unintentionally create distraction.
But Ron, that's what the Taliban said. They kept women in their house because men couldn't be trusted around them.
Well, there's extremists. You came to our campus, they did, your team did. They could see that we're not extremists. Kids are normal and they have fun and they wear normal clothes. It's just not, they've not adapted, we haven't adapted the dress code to the sexualization that's happened in our culture.
I'm really excited. San Francisco's huge, and there's going to be like 26,000 kids there.
We met one of Luce's lieutenants, 22-year-old Mindy Peterson, at the academy in Texas, and we followed her to BattleCry in San Francisco.
Go for Mindy.
Mindy, too, has a troubled history. She's the product of an affair between her mother and a father she never knew.
My father, he was an abortionist. He's a doctor. He does abortions. And so finding that out it's kind of hard for me. Well, yeah, your father was married and your mom got pregnant and he wanted to abort you.
Come here.
I believe abortion is wrong. And all I can say is that it could have been me.
Before her senior year in high school, Mindy went on a weekend church retreat. There, she found God.
I just started praying to God. And everybody has that choice. Like, everybody has a choice whether you're going to believe or you're just not going to believe.
Her mission now, to spread the word to other teenagers in trouble.
Yes, I do consider myself one of God's warriors. A warrior is someone, a soldier who wants to fight. There's God and then there's an enemy. And, God is fighting for your life. And that's the battle right there.
Armed with their faith and ready to spread their truth.
They don't belong here.
When we come back, BattleCry goes to war.
Unloose this future, a narrow and hateful brand of Christianity.